So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the Tories failing to get any amendments on the Rwanda bill, which they see as way too soft. And obviously, the Rwanda bill, complete nightmare. The courts have ruled it unlawful, the last version of it. Would they do about this version? Potentially, I don't know. But this whole Rwanda thing, complete mess. It's just red meat to the right-wing base, but the right-wingers are saying it's not good enough. And it's that kind of dogmatic approach that's really going to cost them, I think, at the next election, because they had a layup. It was easy for them. They ruined a big majority. They could have done so much with it, and they've squandered it. And I think this is going to be them out of power for potentially 10 years, I think. But let's go to talk about this specific bill. So this is the third reading of the bill. So this was the amendments they tried to put out.
The noes have it, unlock.
So you can see here, 58 MPs voted yes for the amendments, the ones to make the bill much harsher. This was Jenrick's amendment, didn't go through, but that means you have potentially about 58 Tory rebels, and that's a big problem for Sunak. Here, amendment defeated, ayes 58, noes 525, and then we've got one more amendment defeated. So this was another bill to exclude international law, including the ECHR, from blocking removal of asylum seekers. 68 Tories voted for it. So that shows you the hallmarks, or 68 MPs voted for it. That shows you the hallmarks of a big potential rebellion for Sunak tomorrow when this legislation is set to go through. You've got certain Tories who have publicly said they're not going to vote. They are going to vote against the bill. Sorry. So you have Miriam Cates. I don't know who that is. Marco Longi. No idea who that is. Jenrick, obviously the minister who resigned. Suella Braverman, former Home Secretary, and Simon Clarke, absolute melt. The government's formal majority is 54. But I think roughly he would need less than 28 to rebel. Sam Coates' wording here very confusing. A couple of abstentions as well, so the real hurdle is slightly higher than 28. So I'm not 100% sure if that means that 28 rebels are needed to tank the bill, or if Sunak just needs his kind of majority plus 28. I don't know. His wording here is strange, but I don't think this bill is going to go through, I'll be honest. You had Lee Anderson, 30p Lee, and Brandon Clark resign over this. So you've got I think is the chief whip, Brandon Clark, and the deputy chair, Lee Anderson, quitting from the Tory party. And it's kind of ironic because, it wasn't more than a few days ago these two were pals.
Let's have a look. People axing the national anthem from a graduation ceremony. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Like, one thing that you and I both agree on, we should be so proud of our country.
We should
shout about it all the time.
I always say this, Prime Minister, this country of ours is a gift to the world.
Yeah, no, that's that kind of nonsense, kind of toxic patriotism, which is just complete garbage. Complete garbage. How is Britain a gift to this world? Honestly, what a melt. Oh, I hate this. Can't stand the geezer. You had Robert Jenrick saying about the bill, this bill doesn't work. We have to get people out of this country within days, not months. The law is our servant, not our master, which is complete nonsense. What he's saying is the law is here to serve us. The law doesn't govern over us. It will listen to what we say. He's one step away from saying, I am the law, like he's Judge Dredd. Oh my God. You've got Rishi Sunak saying that he's going to draft 150 judges to fast track the Rwanda asylum seeker appeals. Where are you going to get the judges from, big man? We have a massive judge shortage. You have lowered the amount of sitting days for judges. We have a massive backlog of cases to the point where people that have been victims of violent crimes are waiting 3 to 4 years to have their court case heard. And you're telling me you're going to fast track people's asylum claims? Get out, honestly, get out. This is one of the most. I want to say it's one of the worst things that he has said he's going to do. But with this lot, that's every other day, honestly. You got here Robert Jenrick.
Clear, beyond doubt, that if you come to this country, you will be detained and swiftly removed to Rwanda or to another safe country.
And Rwanda are a country we're actively taking refugees from. So the question is, how safe is Rwanda? And you've got the United Nations saying the Tories' Rwanda asylum plan still breaks international law. Even the watered-down version of it that they have, or however much they watered it down by, it still breaks international law. That's the United Nations saying this. We're a country not even of, it will, what do you say? It will, I'm trying to remember the quote of, it slightly bends international law, whatever it says. I can't remember, but it was a while ago. It was over the Northern Ireland Protocol. But we go on. Simon Clarke saying, quote, "It's important we don't put on a strained professed unity ahead of delivering the right policy outcomes." I think he's saying we shouldn't pretend to be unified. Says unifying behind an adequate Rwanda bill would not help the Tory party, because what he's looking at is he's looking at reform. He's looking at Reform UK and thinking they're a massive threat. And they probably are a threat to his seat, but overall the main threat for Tories is the party it's always been, it's the Labour Party. And these guys are progressively more and more looking to the right wing elements of their party without realising that the most important thing was always the economy, and they've tanked the economy. These guys are too stupid to understand they've squandered their chance to hold power for a long time. It seems to be the opinion of certain MPs that the ministers ministers reckon that the Rwanda rebels are just effing around and they won't vote down the bill when it comes ahead. So it's a gamble here, and he's, Simon Clarke saying, "I'm not messing around. I will vote against the legislation." So we'll see what Big Man's got tomorrow. We'll see what Big Man's got. There's a couple more things I want to talk about. This is probably the most ironic statement. Simon Clarke saying, "If mainstream democratic politicians do not or cannot resolve the problems that this country faces, then our political process will move extremely to the extremes." And the irony is, it's already in the extremes. You guys, right, during a cost of living crisis, during a situation where the Middle East is in a very dangerous position, you're talking potentially a massive regional conflict breaking out here, and you guys are talking about deporting asylum seekers to Rwanda and breaking international law in a very limited and specific way. That's the word I was looking for. This is shameful. Him arguing, if we don't sort this out now, then politics will go to the extremes. You're already the extremes. So you are the UKIP party. You are Reform UK. That's who you lot are. A very right-wing party by British standards. Very right-wing. Attacking the most vulnerable people in society. Sunak mulling cutting welfare in order to fund a tax cut. That's it. Well, first of all, it's economically illiterate for a start, but the social impact of cutting welfare below inflation, cutting welfare for the most, these are some of the most vulnerable people in society, and some of these people that are on welfare do work, but some of them can't work, and cutting the support that they get is, honestly, it's a mark how far this country has fallen, in my opinion. But then again, we've always shamed people who are on welfare, always have done. I'm just aghast at this man not realising that the real extremists are on that bench there. Shocking stuff. And we go to our final bit today, which is John Craig saying, "This is very much a debate of the warring tribes of the Tory party. Labour, Lib Dems and the SNP are almost spectators here," which he's right about. There is very little the opposition parties can do in this situation. You have basically the far right of the Tory party battling the far right of the Tory party. Let's be honest now, like, Sunak is not centre right, he's right wing, and you've got these people who want basically asylum seekers to be deported, battling against people who also want the same thing but are not willing to kind of break international agreements over it as such. That's the real difference here. That the right wingers who will adhere to some laws versus the right wingers who will adhere to no laws. That's the battle here. This is the new battle of Britain: extremists versus extremists. Honestly, I'm lost for words, guys. I'm lost for words. I don't know what more to say. I'm very scared about the direction this country is going in. I'm very nervous about it. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.